Yo, 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 my name is Jack Lang, and this is episode 1 of Snowball, the pilot. I hope you, our beloved listener, are feeling as excited as I am right now, because we have some great content coming up for you very shortly. But before that, what are we even doing here? This is episode 1, which means no one really knows what the hell is going on. All we know is that this is some sort of show type thing. It's called Snowball, and this is the first episode. Well, let me provide you with some much needed background info to get us started off right. For the past year or so, I was a DJ for the Davidson College student radio, Walt 1610. I had my very own show called 12 Track Mind that started with two of my best buddies, Nate Tempest and B. Jane. The brainchild of Nate, we would air once a week and invite on our friends to be guests for an hour of fun and games. We would have our guests pick their favorite album, which we would listen to and talk about, and every week was filled with laughter, merriment, and musical intrigue. And lucky for me, after Nate and Abby graduated in the spring, they allowed me to carry on the torch of the 12 Track Mind brand for one more semester this past fall. And boy, was it a great run. But now, times have changed. The world is different. I am different. And I have decided it is time to take on a new challenge, climb a new mountain, reach for new heights. And thus here we find ourselves, far from the comfort of the radio waves of Davidson radio and in the vastness of cyberspace, swimming in a sea of unfamiliarity and suspense as to what will happen next. But luckily not all is a mystery. The spirit of 12 Track Mind will live on. Music, and more specifically the way that music was intended to be listened to as an album front to back, will still reach you, our beloved listeners. You will still get to experience all of the same laughter and games and amazing guests as in the 12 Track Mind era. So take solace, my friends. This isn't our first rodeo, but not all is the same. Here at Snowball, we invite on guests to sit around a Snowball microphone and talk about an album of their choice. We also chat with our guests to learn about them and their takes on hot topics. Expect fun, games, laughter, and amateur musicianship. Boy, it's gonna be fun. The day is February 17th, 2019. The album is Suncity by Khalid, and this is episode 1 of Snowball, the pilot. Today around the Snowball, we have guests Samantha, Armas, and Michele Manceaux. Say hi to the people, guys.
Hey guys.
A little louder, please.
Oh, greetings.
Hey.
Man, so much excitement in the room. So we've got Sam and Michele here, and we're going to talk about Suncity by Khalid, which is actually an EP, not an album, but we'll ignore that for now. Before that, to get to know our guests a little better, we're going to start off with a little game to get the juices flowing. Let's play a game! Woo! All right, the game we're going to play here is Mount Rushmore. For those of you amateurs who don't know what Mount Rushmore is, here's how it works. You pick a category, any category, and we go around and we each pick our 4 favorite things from that category. So the category today of Mount Rushmore is musical artists. We're going to get to learn a little bit about the musical tastes of our guests. So I guess I'll start as the host with my top 4 favorite musical artists, and they would be, well, they're nothing off the wall. They're Coldplay, Foo Fighters, Julianne Baker, and Phoebe Bridgers. Those last 2 people might not recognize, but boy, are they great. All right, we're going to send it around the table now. Michele, you are up second with your Mount Rushmore of musical artists.
Okay, I have to say, in no particular order, that my favorites are Alicia Keys. Khalid has bumped into that slot as well.
It's almost like we picked the album by Khalid because you like Khalid.
Oh, probably. The Weeknd, and, just put One Direction up there.
Oh.
Who's your favorite One Direction?
Oh, Zayn. Because his solo music is way better than the rest of those.
All right, I like where this is going. She knows what she wants.
She does.
All right, Sam, your top 4 musical artists, your Mount Rushmore.
My Mount Rushmore would have to be Fall Out Boy, Imagine Dragons, Linkin Park, and then Quinn 92.
All right. I'm not sure who the last one was.
You don't know Quinn 92? Get out of here.
He came when Lil Yachty came. He
opened up that Quinn?
Yeah.
Quinn that played when Lil Yachty played?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that was
Like
what, 2 years
Quinn
ago?
XCII.
Quinn XCII. That's what you should have said. I would have known that.
XCII is the
I mean,
year
I don't think
92.
Yeah.
All right, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I like where this is going. So now we're going to start getting into Suncity a little bit. So I know I first heard Suncity probably 2 weeks ago, and it has changed my life. But when did you all first encounter Suncity for the first time, and maybe how did you get into it in the first place?
Well, I love Khalid, and so as soon as he dropped it, I listened to it. And I think it's just like not something I was expecting from him, like the sound. It's a little more, I guess, more mellow and a little depressing, but it's fine. It's fine. I love depressing music.
Do you like, we'll get into this a little bit, but do you like American Teen or Suncity better? Ooh, maybe we'll table that for later.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, let's keep that question on tab. Sam, when did you first run into Suncity?
I think I ran into it when Better came out. Like, a lot of people was listening to Better. And
Yeah,
I, like,
Better is the single, the sort of piloting single on the EP, Suncity.
right.
So.
And so when the EP came out, I just started listening to that too. It's
Yeah,
like,
that
oh.
song is pretty tasty. Okay, so good to know. We're going to get into some background info on the EP now. So just to clarify, in case no one has picked it up yet, we're talking about the EP Suncity by singer-songwriter Khalid. It was released last October, and it followed up Khalid's debut album American Teen, which signaled the beginning of a rapid rise to stardom for the teenager Khalid. But before we get into Suncity, let's talk about Khalid's life, shall we? So he was born in 1998, so he is a young dude. And he was the son of two military parents. So Khalid is an army kid. And he himself cites his years growing up with his mother, constantly moving from place to place with her employment in the Army chorus, as a key source of his maturity. I mean, geez, he's only 20, and he's already been on the music scene for a solid 3 or 4 years. So this guy's got it going. As a child, Khalid lived in Georgia, New York, Kentucky, Germany, and eventually El Paso, Texas, which is where he has come to call home. This kid has been everywhere. Khalid also cites his mother singing in the Army chorus as one of his primary sources of early inspiration in both his style and his songwriting. So Khalid started writing music early in high school as an expression of the emotions he felt as an outsider who was constantly moving from place to place. And as we said, eventually he found his way to El Paso, Texas as a junior in high school, which is where the genesis of American Teen, which was his debut effort, where that all started. And that's where he believes he's finally found a home for himself. So at this point in his life, junior year of high school, Khalid started putting some stuff up on his SoundCloud, and his talent started to get noticed. In anticipation of senior prom, Khalid, wanting to release a good hit so he could make a run at Prom King, traveled to Atlanta to record his first big song, Location. And incidentally, this did help Khalid become his high school prom king. So High School Prom essentially created his first big hit in Location, which I think is pretty crazy. So then he graduated high school after becoming the prom king, and Khalid released American Teen, which was his debut album. And it experienced immediate and incredible success as an accessible pop R&B masterpiece, some might say. It peaked at number 4 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and went platinum, while singles Young, Dumb, and Broke and Location peaked at 18 and 16. American Teen put Khalid's unique and incredibly talented voice on the map, and in turn, he proceeded to do collaborations with Marshmello, Lorde, Alessia Cara, Post Malone, Logic, and Billie Eilish, among many more. This guy was an absolute machine for about a year after he released American Teen. And then last fall, Khalid decided he was going to be done with the collaborations and move back into his own solo career. So he had already received the key to El Paso and thus wanted to pay homage to his beloved home city. So he set out to record Suncity, which he did over the course of a mere 3 weeks in studio. And the EP was named after El Paso, which itself carries the name Suncity. Okay, So Khalid labeled his EP as somewhat of an experiment, and he explains many of the differences between Suncity and American Teen as byproducts of the environment he was writing the songs in. So he wrote most of American Teen in high school, and he says he wrote a lot of it, quote, sitting in English class, which I think is kind of hilarious. So Suncity is kind of a movement away from writing songs in high school, I guess, however you want to call that, to writing songs in the studio. And the EP features the headlining single Better, as we mentioned earlier with Sam, who loves that song. That one peaked at 18 on the charts. And it, along with many of the songs in Sun City, featured sort of the same simple, accessible sort of characteristics that made American Teen so popular. However, Sun City has been successful for a little bit of a different reason, which is the sonic qualities are slightly different. And if you go and listen, you'll notice that it's a little bit less poppy, headbangy, and a little bit more ethereal, kind of floaty, is how I would describe it. It's been criticized some for its lack of precision, and some critics are underwhelmed by the vague lyrical content and complain that the songs show how Khalid is pretty good at a lot of things, but how he isn't elite at any particular thing.
Ouch.
So people cite the song Saturday Nights, which I'm sure Sam will be very disappointed about. They cite Saturday Nights as a specific target with these criticisms. So, okay, that took a while, but now we have a pretty good handle on Khalid, and we know what people have said, but no one knows what we have to say. So let's get into it.
No.
We'll start with, what were your all's initial impressions of the album? Sort of what stuck out to you? What were your favorite parts? What were your least favorite parts? Michele, I'll swing it around to you.
So when I first heard it, I guess like I was anticipating the same type of sound that was from American Teen, which was like, you know, this like airy teenage filled like vibe, and that's not what you get from it. It's more of like talking about like some serious things, like I don't know if anyone's caught up with like what better really means or what it's talking about, but it's more about like him being in this relationship with a girl who's cheating on like her boyfriend or something, and they're just like, he's like, I'll like always be there at night or whatever for you.
Ooh.
And so so it's like pretty like it's like pretty like
that's so interesting,
yeah,
because when I was looking up stuff about that song, Khalid has said the way that song started is they had a beat in the studio, and then he was just like listening to the beat, he was on the mic and he was like, wow, nothing's better than this beat. And so then that's how the song started. Yeah. But then it ended up turning into something completely different.
Oh yeah, he like, I follow him on Twitter, and so like whenever he was like promoting his EP, I guess people were asking him what better meant, and like he kind of hinted at it, and other people were like, oh my god, this is what it is, and he didn't deny it. So I know.
Yeesh. He does have a tendency to write songs about relationships, but usually they come off as a little happier.
Yeah.
Vertigo is another song, I think, that's pretty sort of sad in that way. It kind of talks about he's getting quote unquote vertigo from his sort of rise to stardom, and so it's a little bit on the heavier side. Sam, what was a song that stuck out most to you from the EP?
Oh, I would say Sun City.
Sun City?
Yeah.
Oh man, Sun City, what a banger.
It is a banger.
So different from
the other ones. It's just like a light refreshment.
I mean, the fact that he's doing he's like totally not Spanish at all.
He's not, but like, he's going back to like what his city is.
He was supposedly really excited to like sing in Spanish
when
he did this song.
He did a pretty good job.
Did you thought he pulled it off?
I think he did. Do you not?
I thought he sounded like a lot like Khalid trying to sing Spanish, which I guess makes sense, but like it didn't sound like Spanish to me. It sounded like
that's what you get when you're not a native
Spanish.
speaker.
I mean, it's nothing like you'll see from like how Justin Bieber, everyone was like, oh my god, he speaks Spanish so well, and then when he did it live, he couldn't remember any words.
Do it.
So
I don't think Khalid's pretending to be able to speak Spanish.
No.
Although I will say the first time that I heard it, I was like, Oh man, this is just them trying to make Despacito all over again.
Yeah,
I'm
at
not
the
sure.
beginning it did.
But then I heard it again and I was like, hot diggity, this thing is something totally different and it's awesome. I want to do a little translation. Have either of you guys ever, you didn't take Spanish?
No, but I've seen the translation like at least once or twice.
You're French, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I know one sentence that he was saying.
So it doesn't sound, like the Spanish that he speaks in that song doesn't sound anything like Spanish. It just sounds like some really catchy syllables.
Yeah.
But he's saying, Llévame a Ciudad del Sol, frick, man.
Yeah.
It's been so long since
Nice,
I've
Jack. You got the
Llévame a
Spanish going.
Ciudad del Sol, llévame donde dejé mi corazón, yeah. Llévame, oh, solo a Ciudad de Sol. Llévame donde dejé mi corazón, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he's saying, bring me to the city of Seoul, the Sun City. Bring me where I left my heart. Bring me, oh, Sun City. Bring me where I left my heart. Okay, so like very obvious what he's talking about here. Sun City, El Paso, Texas, where he finished his high school days. And as sort of jolty and terrible as it sounded like when I speak Spanish and just read the lyrics, it is equally the opposite when you listen to it. One thing that I wanted to talk about personally is, like we were saying, Sun City is way more depressing. Basically, barring Saturday Nights, which is like Young, Dumb, and Broke all over again, I felt like. Sun City generally is way more heavy and depressing. Do you guys like the sort of more emotional Khalid or the more American teen kind of Khalid?
I mean, he brought emotion into American Teen. Like, there's some songs that people definitely can relate to. Like
Therapy is one that comes to mind.
Therapy, Cold Blooded, like they were all really good. And then, I mean, I still love him regardless of the songs he makes, but I do enjoy like him changing his sound.
Yeah, I think too, with the sort of more ethereal vibe that you get on Sun City, it matches up with the lyrics of sort of a more emotional, like vulnerable lyric.
Right.
That's why I guess this might be a good time to talk about what our favorite tracks are. But for me, like Vertigo is definitely my favorite track because it totally matches up those two things. And then I also really like Motion a lot too. Same thing as Vertigo, just maybe not quite as good, but still awesome.
Right.
What were y'all's favorite tracks on the EP?
I really enjoyed Motion. That one was my favorite. And then like I'll still listen to Better like every day because it does get better every single time I listen to it. And then
Sam?
I still gotta go with Sun City because I literally have had that on like 4 of my Spotify playlists and it like just comes
so
on
catchy.
so much.
Yeah.
Khalid can write a catchy song.
Really catchy
Yeah.
song.
You got
It's
a
like-
second favorite maybe?
Second favorite, still gotta say Saturday Nights.
Saturday Nights. Okay.
Despite the criticism,
Yeah.
I
No,
still
it's
like to
good.
listen to it.
It's a pretty good song. But it does sound like he's sort of being a little bit derivative. I don't want to say that word, but it sounds like he's trying to
Jack?
copy someone else's style and he's not doing it amazingly.
True.
What is it like? I mean, if that song comes on, I'm like, all right, let's headbang a little bit. So I think let's do this. We'll do ratings out of 10 and then I'll give some closing remarks for the EP.
For the entire EP.
For the entire EP. I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's really good. I've been listening to it pretty constantly for the past 2 weeks and it's not old yet. So that tends to be a good sign.
I got out of 10.
Out of 10. No, out of 12. Of course out of 10.
I don't
How
know.
would
Sorry.
you rate something?
I mean, I feel like sitting between you guys. You guys are such like Khalid fans. I'm just, like, I've listened to it like maybe 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, I gotta give it like a 7.
7?
It's
That's
good.
I mean, 7's it's riding high. That's doing
riding
pretty
high.
Good. All right. Michelle's gonna give it a 10.
Michelle's gonna be like 10.
I can't give it a 10. I have to be critical about his work, okay? I think I'll give him an 8.5. So the half
That's
is generous
good, yeah.
because it's really like, I mean, people were expecting him to make an album, and like this EP, like
It's 8 songs though.
Yeah.
It's 8 songs. There have been albums that are 8 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sort of actually sort of surprises me that they labeled it as an EP.
I know. I was like, wait.
I don't know the difference between an EP and
Extended
an album.
play and long play.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So really, it's like pretty arbitrary, but I think the way that they marketed it was more. I don't know if he's doing a tour for it or anything like that.
No, probably not.
I have a question for you, Michelle. If Khalid asked you to marry him right now, would you do it?
He's your age.
He
He's
is my
your
age. Oh my god.
It's like I have this thing. There's this artist named Jade Bird who maybe we will listen to at some point, but she's like my age, and
Who is that?
and she's awesome. And I'm like, if Jade Bird asked to marry me, yeah, I would probably say yes.
I think he's just like we're not compatible. Like I've had to come to terms with that.
Oh,
When I
you've had to come to. You thought about this.
I did think
extensively.
about like being like, oh wow, like he's so great, but I was like, he's just my music guy, like nothing else.
Wow, incredible ability to separate it out.
I had to.
Wow.
So some closing remarks on the album. I think one of the things that stuck out to me a lot was so we've talked about it as this is Khalid being a little bit more insightful and meaningful with his lyrics. He's done it before on American Teen, but it matches up pretty well with the sort of change in style. He's a lot heavier on, it seems like, more ethereal production qualities, like more synthy production qualities than he was in American Teen. And one thing I think that's really interesting about Khalid is that if you break down his songs, they're all super, super simple, just like very basic chord progressions, oftentimes simple 4-chord throughout the whole song. But he has this ability to, like, if I were to put his song on just like an acoustic guitar and nothing else, remove all the production quality and all that makes it sound really good on radio, it still sounds amazing when I just like play those 4 chords over again and put the melody on top of it. And I think this guy is really something special when it comes to melody writing. All right. Thanks for talking about Suncity with me, guys.
No
You're welcome.
Great thoughts. Michelle, you are well researched, I must say.
You really
It's
are.
fine.
But you won't marry him, though.
No.
Okay. Disappointing.
I'll be his friend.
I was shipping that relationship before it even started. Okay.
It's to be friendship.
So we're going to break it here in the middle with a little music. Obviously, I would play Suncity if I could, but I can't. So I've gone ahead and done the next best thing, or I hope you think it's the next best thing. What you're about to hear is a cover of the song Vertigo by me. Vertigo is track number 2 from the EP. Of course, I cannot do Khalid full justice, but hopefully you don't think I'm too bad. And maybe you'll learn a little something about the song when it's stripped down, how great Khalid's melodies are when it's just a little piano and a little vocal. So this is my cover of Vertigo, track 2 from Suncity, and it was originally by Khalid.
Are we better off believing what the ignorance suggests? I wish living life was easy, but mine has been a mess. They say it comes with the seasons, but the seasons come and go, they go. I go blurry when I'm thinking, is it me or vertigo? Criticized, who am I to give up? I'm breathing, what's the reason to let up? to give up. I'm putting on my favorite record on. Are we alive? Or are we dreaming after the ride? And are you leaving? Are we alive? And are we dreaming after the ride? Or are you leaving? I've been better off than broken. I've been battered, I've been beat. I wish I was more outspoken, but the words are out of reach. Thought I loved you in the moment. I was happy, I was not. I've been learning, I've been growing, but the worst is yet to come. Criticized, who am I to give up? I'm breathing, what's the reason to let up? Who am I to give up? I'm putting on my favorite record on. Are we alive? Or are we dreaming after the ride? Or are you leaving? Are we alive? Or are we dreaming after the ride? Or are you leaving? Eyes closed, I've been falling with my eyes low. Eyes low, I've been falling with my eyes closed. Eyes closed, I've been falling with my eyes low. Eyes low, I've been falling with my...
And we're back. Hope you all enjoyed that. I think I enjoyed it. I don't know, whatever you think is fine. But now I still have Sam and Michele here with me, so I think we ought to properly meet them. We know what music they like and that they love Khalid, but we don't really know anything more than that. So we started with Michele last time. We'll start with Sam this time. Sam, I'll open my interview how I always do it. Why don't you tell me a little something about yourself?
Right. I'm a junior. I'm on the tennis team
At Davidson College.
at Davidson College. I'm a biology major that's also pre-med, so I do a lot of science, and
She's a hardworking
Yep.
young lady.
I put lots of work on myself, and I sometimes regret it, but it's okay.
Now, I've had you as a guest a couple times on 12-Track Mind, my
Yeah.
previous escapade, and you were notoriously an absolute savage. Would you care to explain? And even recently, too, just like at dinner the other day, called me a...
Oh, please! You misheard me. And then later on, I actually did tell you something.
There were some expletives in there, but it was essentially calling me a hater in a much more mean way than just calling me a hater.
That's some age.
Would you care to explain
I don't
yourself?
even remember the second time where I roasted you. But the first time, this was back when Nate and Abi were still here. And
This was when Nate and Abi were leaving the
Yeah.
show, and they were passing the torch, and we were like, we had Sam on the show, and we were asking her, like, how should Jack go about carrying the torch all by his little self? Does he need a co-host? Like, what's he gonna do? And Sam said,
I said, you need like a co-host to like balance out the cringiness. Yeah.
Precisely.
And then you proceeded to like ask me like, will you be my co-host? And I was like, no.
and then she said no. Straight, didn't even think about it. And was just like, no, I will not be your co-host. And then I had her on the show. I don't know why I had her back on the show. Why do I even have you on the show right now?
I don't know.
I had her back on the show, and then in the fall, sort of a couple episodes into the season by myself with 12-Track Mind, I was like, how am I doing? And Sam said, okay, could be better.
I think I asked you, like, where's your co-host?
Yeah,
but
she said, where's my co-host? So why are you such a savage to me all the time, Sam?
I don't know, Jack. I tell you this every time it comes out. Like, I don't know, it just comes out of me. You seem like a person that can handle it. So, like,
okay.
If I know that, then I'll let it all out.
All right, I'll take that. That seems to be a compliment in some sense. Okay. All right, enough of that. Okay, we gotta learn more about Sam here real quick.
Do.
So, Sam, you are on the tennis team.
I am.
And you may or may not be a captain on the tennis team.
I am a captain.
One of 3, but the only junior captain.
Mm-hmm.
This is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do we feel about that? Do we like being the unquestioned leader of the tennis team?
I like to think of myself as, like, a captain in training. Because, like, there's 8 girls on the team, so that's a high percentage of girls that are captain.
I don't know. I've heard that people respect you the most of anyone on the team, so I'll just leave it at
High
that.
praise.
But that's just what I hear through the radio waves. So. All right. And now, okay, favorite tennis player.
Roger Federer.
All right, that was fast.
Sorry, Michele.
It's okay.
That question's coming to you in a second.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got it fast.
All right, Michele, it's your turn now. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm also a junior. I'm a psych and poli-sci double major. I am on the women's soccer team at Davidson. And I'm from Dallas, Texas, which is very important because that's why I like Khalid.
Sam, for the people, where are you from?
Ackworth, Georgia.
Ackworth.
Suburb in Atlanta, so.
All right, cool. We got Georgia and Texas. Very southern.
Very.
I went to church one time with Michele. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, the reason he asked me.
Don't worry about it. We're not going to talk about this.
Okay.
No, we will not talk about this.
Okay, I'll comment on the podcast and I'll give a brief summary of why.
Yes,
Okay.
continue the story.
So, Michele, people tell me that you have absolute wheels. That you can move really, really fast.
Oh, yes, you can.
You can move between point A and point B in a shorter amount of time than anyone else. That's what people tell me.
Are you talking in a soccer context?
Any
No, walking
but
from
a soccer
chambers to
context for sure. When there's a soccer ball and you need to chase after it, I hear that you're just an absolute blur.
Well, thank you, I guess. But we also have we have other fast people as well. I actually don't do well on our speed tests, if I'm being honest.
Put a ball in front of her though, and she goes.
Different story.
And Michele is also a captain on her respective team.
I am.
Ooh.
Are you the unquestioned leader on the women's soccer team? I guess now you're
Currently, I am.
You are the unquestioned
Yes,
leader.
I am the only one.
Did you guys have 2 captains?
We had 3.
You had
so
3.
We had 2
'cause you
senior
guys are a big
captains,
team.
yeah. And
See?
I was a captain in training, and now the training is
Look
over.
at the parallels here. We had Sam as a junior captain, 2 senior captains, and then Michele is exactly the same. But now she's the unquestioned leader because soccer season's in the fall.
Yeah.
So the seniors are gone, and
They
now
are
Michele is a dictator.
Oh,
no.
Do you wield your powers?
I don't really. I don't know what that. You're saying it in a very negative way. I think I will relay messages that need to be relayed.
Okay, that's very politically correct. That's very correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Michele, favorite soccer player, go.
Oh, God. Ever?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, Zinedine Zidane.
Excuse me?
Excuse me, say that one more time.
Zidane, he is...
Wait, what was his first name?
Zinedine.
Zinedine Zidane.
Zidane.
That's like a tongue twister.
Yeah, he's a French player, or he used to be on the French national team. He was the quote-unquote iconic headbutt at the final in 2006 against Italy, and that's basically all he's been known for a while. But he won a World Cup a while back, 2000 or something. He's a very, very decorated player, and he's so good. He's so good. Yeah.
Would you marry him if he asked you to marry him?
Yeah.
Oh,
There we
and
go.
he's a lot older than you
He's
are.
a lot older and he's bald, and that says a lot.
Dang.
He's just
Okay, all
very
you
good.
soccer players out there, Michelle's looking. All right. Now, okay, I asked Sam, favorite tennis player because you're a tennis fan. What's your favorite tennis player?
Rafa.
Rafael
Yeah.
Nadal. It doesn't bother you that one of his arms is way bigger than the other one?
I don't care. You know what I care about? Him freaking winning. Because he hasn't been doing that. So,
It's okay. The French Open is his.
I know. The French Open, you could just write his name on the trophy right now. But the Australian Open, wow.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
So terrible.
All right, kids. Well, it was good to get to know you. But now is the part of the show where we talk about a hot topic. A hot topic
Oh man.
with our guests, which is you guys. And we get to hear your flaming hot takes. So today's topic is leadership in college sports, which is very fitting because you guys are both captains on college sports teams. And not to brag, but I
so
am
are
also,
you.
Wow.
I am also a
Wow,
captain
shameless plug.
on the Davidson golf team. So we have a lot of expertise.
Oh, you play
in the
golf?
room.
Oh, do you now?
Oh, aren't
Okay.
you like a A10 champ?
Yeah, this show's not about me. So anyway, let's chat about this. I've always thought that maybe I would be a coach in the future if this whole golf thing doesn't go well. So your answers are it's very important that you get your answers right now. Or
Right or
that
wrong
you
answer?
that you answer truthfully.
Okay.
So, what do you think? I guess it might vary between sport, but what do you guys think a good captain or leader of a team? What qualities do they have, and what do they do to sort of display their leadership? What would a good leader do? Very broad question.
That is a very broad
Yeah.
question. I actually came up in a team meeting of ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that closed team meeting or can
It's close to me. I'll give
Yeah,
like some
Snowball.
snippets of it.
Ooh,
but
snippets? We like snippets.
it was definitely like a talk about how could all of us contribute in a way being our own captain, although we do have like actual
People that-
captains. But like we did talk about how we can be role models with each other. And like a big thing that I think all of us agreed on is that what a good captain does is that they lead by example rather than like saying like ordering, like saying the things that should be done and all these things, but why don't the captain like do it themselves to show like and set the example.
Michelle's nodding her head.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
is. She can go.
No, I definitely agree. Like, I think leading by example doesn't mean like you just being like really good at your sport per se, but also like off the field, like you're able to communicate with your teammates who like may need help or, you know, need to confide in you about something. And if you can like get them through whatever, good or bad, like it helps the team in small ways, but you just know that you can try to get people on the same page. So
Yeah, so it seems like there's this thing of like you at minimum if you're going to be like a leader or captain or a good one, you have to like work hard on the field. Like you have to work harder than everyone else and do
you
it
have to be, like-
and do it the right way.
Yeah, but you also have to be like mindful
Yeah.
of your teammates.
Yeah.
And, like,
And then there's this like teammate connection part too.
right. There's like this empathy that I think a good captain will have is
Yeah.
that they're able to like connect with each of their teammates and be
Right.
able to like be a source, like someone that teammates can come to if they have problems.
but I mean, I don't feel like the captain has to be the best player on the team.
For sure. Yeah.
They can be, but I mean, if you like are a captain and you can recognize that someone is doing better than you or is, you know, really showing hard work, then you can like acknowledge that. I think not just
Be
be
like, good job.
yeah, you're just like, that's great, and like you'll probably push yourself because you see
Yeah.
like that they're doing so well. You want to do
How do
better.
you all's teams choose captains, by the way? Is that allowed to be known? I can
Right.
tell you how our team does.
Your coach
Okay.
tells
Our
you.
coach chooses our
think
captains.
your coach chooses?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
wow.
yours.
something to it, for sure. Because
Like you guys don't put
it's
anything.
not a popularity contest
Well,
by
no.
any means. And coaches usually pretty smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can also run into problems where they get it wrong because they're not in tune with the day-to-day.
No.
How do y'all's teams do it?
We go into individual meetings and give like our top 3. And so like the first one gets like however like the max points, and then it like filters down from there. They take all that, they compile whatever, and then they take that into consideration, and then they console. The coaches console with each
process.
other. Yeah. So then
process.
like it's just like depending on like, let's say like someone like most of our team picks someone that is just clearly doesn't demonstrate like captaincy at all.
Right.
Then they're just like
they're like a fun dude.
yeah, they're just like no.
Not.
And so then they'll be like, well, we took your things into consideration, but you know, it goes to X, Y, and Z or whoever. So
Sam, how do you guys do it on the tennis team?
Ours is a vote.
Do you guys? Is it like heads down?
No, it was like turning a piece of paper underneath the coach's door by the end of the week.
Oh my gosh!
And they told us vote for 2 to 3 people or 1 person if you wanted to.
Oh,
And they just tallied it up and tell us, but like I have no idea what is actually going on. They maybe have something like Michele's team where like the coaches kind of have like all like the deciding decision at the end where they can be like, no, this person, why'd you vote this person?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
What the hell, man?
Yeah.
You guys have like processes. Like it's like a
I mean,
thing.
we don't. It's not like you can campaign to be captain because apparently before I got here, like that's what was happening. People were like, vote for me, and like
Really?
So yeah, I've
Wow.
always kind of like, I don't know, I've been a captain for almost 2 years now, and like early on you're like, oh, I'm a captain, like I can just tell people to do stuff, but like it doesn't give you any onus to like it doesn't give you any
There's no
authority.
power.
Like,
No.
like there's
There
no
shouldn't
power.
be.
It's not like you're a captain, like you
Yeah.
have control over everyone on your team.
you're like the representative.
Like,
Yeah.
But
you're like the representative to the but at the same time, like I almost felt like being picked as a captain just like doesn't even matter. Like you almost don't need to do it because, or maybe
Interesting.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I almost think you almost don't need to do it because like the leaders on the team will be the leaders and they're gonna lead by example and like keep everyone on the same page and connect with people. And like giving them the label as captain doesn't really make them do that more.
No. I think it's one question they asked me when I got chosen was like, do you think this would affect you in your like soccer like capability? Like would this interfere with soccer? And I was like,
interesting question.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, why would it? Like,
I'm just gonna
you
keep
know,
doing
I'm just
what
gonna
I'm
keep
doing.
like you picked me because I was doing what I was doing before you gave me this label, so I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like when people see that you have this like label over your head, then they're like, oh, like, wow, she thinks she's so great. And I'm like, you voted for me. I just
Michelle's like, oh, no, I think I'm terrible. I suck.
I'm just doing
I do think sometimes though, like sort of having the captain label like enables you to sort of follow through on what you're already doing. So say you're already doing a bunch of good things, like you're working hard, you're doing all the leadership stuff, but you're just like not as good or something, or your like talent level's not there. If you get a captain label, like people take notice and probably listen more. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think, Sam, do you think we need captains?
I think we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, especially for my team, it's like when we got described the captain position, it was like a liaison between our coaches and the teammates. Because, like, in my team, we have a big thing about team culture. And one of the responsibilities, like, I think that a captain should have is to, like, maintain that culture and make sure, or, like, try their best to keep teammates on the same page. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely, I think, something.
Do you think so soccer, obviously everyone's playing together. Tennis, you guys have doubles. Golf, we just all sort of like play on our own.
Right.
It's the concept is called interdependence between people on a team.
Yeah.
Do you think that how you lead sort of varies between what sort of sport you're playing? So, like, for example, golf team, really low interdependence. We just go out there and play separately. I've sort of found that just it's 100%. Like, no one's going to listen to me because they're just off there doing their own thing. So I just have to, like, work really hard and hope that people do that.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I might say something, but like people aren't gonna listen to me. So
Oh, come on.
because it's such an individual sport. Everyone's sort of in their own thing. Does that play out differently for you guys?
Well, I think we have like a spectrum here, like going on,
totally
because we have
ours is
golf,
very
we have tennis,
high
and there's Michele. Michele can talk about her high interdependence.
I think if it's when you see it in this perspective, you have 11 people in the field, and you have to pass the ball to these people. And when you're doing when you're in practice, like you're having to build like a team chemistry and team culture. And I think that's something that like our team has struggled with a lot, is the culture part. And so like this semester is like us, vamping up this like culture concept, which you'll probably see like throughout the semester. Like we're doing all these new things to see like what it is that we need as a culture. And so now I feel like it's a lot of work, but you have to rely on people to get involved and get
I feel like it might be more pressure on you than me in that situation.
To make sure that people are like because like obviously this culture thing is very important to not only to the coaches but to us, because we want to win and we can't win on our own, like individually. We have to like come together and be like, this is how it's gonna be.
Right.
So
the fact that everyone's connected makes a big difference. How does the double stuff play out for you guys? Because you guys are playing singles like half the time.
Yeah, but
more
like
than half the time.
I would like argue like on the interdependent scale, like tennis, college tennis at least, is like towards the middle, because like we know that tennis is like most similar to golf because of the individual aspect, but college changes it completely, where you're competing for points, and a singles match counts as one. Doubles, there's teams like 2 out of 3.
Also, you guys like in practice have to rally with each other and stuff.
Yeah, in practice, it's not like you're beating each other up every single day. You have to work together.
Yeah.
So tennis is like, there's like this interesting dynamic where you have to like really, how are you going to work with each other, and how are you guys going to make each other better?
Yeah. Would you guys, say you guys hypothetically were a college coach, would you guys recruit more for talent or more for sort of motivational like leadership qualities?
Oh God.
Well, that's hard to find in a high school tennis player.
Let's say you can look at a player and you can be like, this guy's gonna work really hard and be a good example for other people.
Yeah.
Would you recruit for that, or would you recruit the guy with the gal with the biggest serve or something?
Oh, we have this topic like all the time, like during
some
practices. Yes, because I mean, like our coach is always like, you can be so talented, but if you don't work hard, like like what is it? Effort trumps talent or something like that.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah. So it's like, and I'm like, oh, why? But I mean, like, talent is a big part of your sport. If you're not good at it, like, then what's the point of even recruiting you? But I guess, like, if you find someone who's talented but also can like work hard and doesn't think they're like, it's
the dream.
Yeah. It's the dream player.
If you find Michele Manceaux, you better take her.
Just find 10 Michele Manceaux and put them on a team.
I think in golf, certainly, I think the consensus. Well, there's a certain like golf. It's like you get what you put into it. It's more than other sports almost. So because it's less athletic based, it's more like what's technique, the skill that you've worked on so much. So like the really good recruits are going to be the guys that tend to work hard, but sometimes you'll get like really, really talented players who don't work so hard. So I think they generally say like it's like a case by case, or I would generally say it's a case by case basis in golf, but I would generally want to recruit the kids that plan on working really hard in college, because if you keep trying at it, you're going to get better. Tennis, maybe not so much. Because I mean, there's a certain athletic limitation that eventually you won't be able to get over the hump.
What?
Right? I'm not saying, no, Sam is the most athletic person I know.
Oh, please.
We
just said Michelle's
She's like, very strong, actually.
She has the biggest forehand I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Have you ever actually seen her lift?
Yeah,
insane.
My deadlift.
She's like literally probably weighs 125 or something, and she's lifting insane numbers.
Yo, how much you deadlift, bro?
I think my height was like 235
Hot?
on the deadlift, but I haven't done that in like
Dang.
2 years. So
How much you bench?
we don't bench.
I'm done.
Cool. All right, guys. That was our hot topic, which was sports leadership in college sports specifically. And to recap, we did have 3 experts, I might say. Well, 2. I'm not sure I would call myself an expert, but
What are you
we
doing?
definitely had 2 experts.
You
in the
literally
ring.
won the A10
This isn't-
individual and the
Not-
A10 team.
Not a show about
I
me,
don't
Michelle.
understand.
Not a show about
You've
me.
been captain for 2 years.
Yeah, and
All right.
won 2 A10 championships.
Okay, let's.
Anyways.
Anyways.
But I really appreciate you guys coming in. This was episode 1 of Snowball, the pilot. We listened to Suncity by Khalid, his EP that followed up his debut album, American Teen. We all thought it was amazing. We had some interesting things to say. And we also had some very interesting things to learn about you all. And some interesting things to learn about leadership in college sports. So thank you all for coming by. This may have lasted a lot longer than I expected. But all that means is the friendship was strong and the conversation was stimulating. So please tune in when we come back next time on Snowball with episode 2. This was the pilot. Thanks for listening, everybody, and see you next time.
You'd rather speak more than listen, and that's based off our first impression. I'm gonna hide this affection. I'm going in the right direction, floating through different dimensions. The ladders and stairs, they haven't changed. Honey, I forgot to mention, I'm so entranced by you that it hurts. I'm in love with the moment, to me falling, to me going. I'm in love with the moment, to me falling, to me going. Can't let me go if I'm falling. I've been on the path of importance. Nothing left, pull you in slowly. The river is running, we're flowing. I'm coming down, you've been rolling. And we're out of flame, now we're open. Pour me a potion. I'm rocking the motions. I'm in love.